The 43rd day of Russia's large-scale war against Ukraine. 43rd day of the fight of Ukrainians for their freedom. Rescuers began to retrieve the bodies of the dead from the rubble in Burjanka. This is a village 50 kilometers to the west from Kyiv, which was destroyed by the Russian occupiers.
Розібрали два будинки великих, знайшли 26 тіл. І це тільки два будинки. Бородянка – це показовий приклад, коли там взагалі не було жодних військових інфраструктур.
Such information was announced by the Prosecutor General Irina Venediktova, broadcasted on the national telemarathon as of 8 p.m. on April the 7th. At the same time, residents of Burjanka tell how the occupiers did not allow them to dismantle the debris to rescue people.
Вони в каптерочці там сиділи, то був склад до ресторану. І вони там сиділи, їх там привалило. Вони там і кричали, і все, але ж вони не давали туди людям зайти. А росіяни, оце цілий місяць, коли вони стільки отут сиділи, ні разу не дали подойти.
Mrs. Galina has been living in Borodianka for 36 years. Now she is homeless. The majority of people most likely died under the collapse of apartment buildings. There may be hundreds of bodies.
Тут моя рідня, сестричка і племінник, і близькі друзі. Так з самого ранку ми тут чекаємо, може десь Бог знайдемо. Хоч похоронить, розумієте?
And in this photo, a woman who has been waiting for the third day for her family to be pulled out from the rubble. Rescuers continue to work in Borodianka. They said that the Russian invaders did not leave any surviving buildings in the village. In 1240, this historic town was burned by the hordes of Batu, who rushed to Kyiv. In 2022, burned for the second time by hordes of Putin. Borodianka got in the way of the Russian troops' attack on Kyiv. The invaders turned this village into ruins. Almost all civilians killed in Bucha died from enemy bullets. The mayor of the city, Anatoly Fedoruk, reported about it. He told Deutsche Welle that in almost 90% of cases, specialists found bullet wounds instead of shrapnel wounds. That is to say, the enemy army shot the civilian population. As of April the 6th, 320 civilians were killed.
Щодня фактично маємо все нові і нові тіла загиблих в різних куточках нашого міста, в огородах, паркових зонах, на території дитячих майданчиків.
Photos of the victims of the shootings in Bucha have already been seen around the world. People were killed in the streets as they tried to flee. Others were tortured. The victims were also found with their hands tied. Murder, torturing and robbing. Information about Russian looters in different regions of Ukraine appears daily. Ivan Fedorov, the mayor of Melitopol in southern Ukraine, said the Russian military were not only looting residents' homes, but also stealing equipment and agricultural machinery.
Вони крадуть сільхозтехніку, та яка безпосередньо має збирати урожай, обробляти нашу землю. Це в них найактуальніше. Та техніка, яку вони тягнуть сьогодні з Запорізької області, з Мелітополя, вона недоступна для придбання на російській території.
Fedorov also suggested that the Russians want to disrupt the sowing campaign in Ukraine, and this could lead to a serious international humanitarian crisis, as Ukraine supplies 30% of the world's grain. Also, due to the activities of the Russian army, the residents of Melitopol were unable to receive medicines and hygiene products. The occupiers did not allow our humanitarian convoy to enter Melitopol. Moreover, they were threatening the drivers and took all the buses and trucks with humanitarian cargo by force. In the same Zaporizhia region, the armed forces of Ukraine found laptops, clothes, and products stolen from local residents by the seized APCs. In general, they did not neglect anything. Blankets and mattresses were taken out, canning was taken from the cellars, curtains were removed from the windows. If any of the villagers tried to protest, they threatened them with weapons. And these shots have already been taken in the Kyiv region by Ukrainian musician Oleg Skripka. On the social networks, the leader of the band Vopli Vidoplasova said that the occupiers broke into his cottage house. Marauding orcs in the village of Pozarovichi near Bucha broke in and lived in my cottage house. They were killing and robbing. They ran away so fast that they forgot their socks and pickles, which were also stolen. The singer also showed that the occupiers' belongings were scattered around the house. Among all, there were biscuits on which Army of Russia was written. Russian aviation struck the railroad in the Kharkiv region. As a result, 3 evacuation trains transporting people from Donbass and Luhansk region were temporarily blocked. This was reported by the head of Ukrzaliznytsa Alexander Kamyshin. This is the only Ukrainian-controlled railway from towns like Slovyansk, Kramatorsk and Liman, the road of life for tens of thousands of our citizens now. Due to the fact that the enemy is trying to cut off all routes, people in the hotspots are advised not to delay fleeing.
Сегодня был удар и повреждена железная дорога. Мы не знаем пока, восстановят, не восстановят колеи. Но если не восстановят, то тогда мы сможем только вот автобусами один раз, одну поездку в день делать. Это очень мало. Это буквально несколько сотен человек.
However, at midnight it became known. The section of the railroad was quickly restored and evacuation trains continued. Among the passengers, and it is about 4,000 people, no one was wounded. There is not a single functioning hospital left in Luhansk region, the region bordering with Russia. This was reported by the head of the regional military administration, Serhiy Haidai. The Russists deliberately deprive Luhansk region of healthcare facilities so that the wounded have no chance of survival. The photo shows the Rubizhna hospital that was completely destroyed. Before the war it was new and had high-tech equipment. Now it is completely destroyed and occupied. In the long-suffering city of Mariupol, however, the occupiers continue to kidnap people. Workers and patients of Hospital Number 4 were forcibly taken out of the city. Armed men came to the medical institution and ordered the doctors and patients to get into Russian transport. This was reported in the City Council of Mariupol. For more than a month, the city has been blocked by the Russian invaders. This is not the first time information about the deportation of people appears. At least 40,000 residents of Mariupol were taken to Russia and to so-called Donetsk People's Republic, which was illegally created in 2014.
Where can you find a safe place if your city is under siege? Is it an usual residential building? No. In hospitals or schools?
Третья больница, Мариуполь. Роддом.
No. In a theater, the heart of your city. Far away from any military objects. Yes, that's a good idea. Is there any other way we could warn Russian pilots about kids hiding in the theater? Yes, capital letters, in Russian. That way we will definitely be safe. But only if murdering our children isn't their goal.